officially back here at driving line driver battles between the S2000 and the much grippier, aerodynamically slippier RX8. Big thanks to Driving Line for having us out here. Again, we were here last year with the Civic and the MR2, and that ended disastrously with a 6-second lead. How do you think it's gonna go?
Yeah, well, if we're just talking specs, right? If we're just bench racing these cars, the S2000 is so much faster, it's not even funny. 2,800 pounds, 235 horsepower, as opposed to, what, 3,100 pounds?
3,060.
And 190 horsepower?
I mean, there was some horsepower that was made.
What, how much?
It doesn't matter.
It was like 188 or something?
Yeah, but corner speeds are what matters.
Yeah,
so
okay.
What you're not talking about on paper, I've got 275 square tires, NTO ones.
Yeah.
And what size do you have?
I got just little 235s. So we did a first drive in this S2000, Ben. Then we disassembled everything. We pulled everything out of the car, got it painted, reassembled everything. So I really haven't driven this car ever since we rebuilt it. We just put it on the dyno. Like, I literally haven't driven it on the street or anything. I'm really sketched out. You just always have that sketchy feeling with a fresh build.
Well, then I have driven this on the street about 1,000 miles since the Bridgeport, but we did Bridgeport it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it is still very fresh, and I've never tracked it, obviously.
I'm gonna say this, Ben, I think you're gonna have way more fun than me today.
You think?
Yes.
Well, you're gonna be a little bit anxious about your paint job.
That's the issue. That's the only, if you win today, I'm gonna say it's gonna be because I was taking it very easy.
So the paint on this car is way too nice, and it hasn't been on the car long enough to cure and gas out so that we can put PPF, like real PPF on the car. Now you might ask, well, why are you doing a track day? Long story short, we had to come do the track day because that's when it was scheduled for. And I wasn't able to get PPF on the car before then, but we're gonna do some temporary PPF. Like, it's not gonna look good. It's just literally to keep rocks from hitting the paint.
We are not wrap guys, that is for sure. It's sticking, it's just got a lot of bubbles. This track is awesome. We haven't been here since last year, but it's a super low speed, high corner grip track. And they have a little bit of everything here. There's trail braking corners. There are also high speed, like sweeping corners. There's S's. There's a lot of like elevation, like going over the crest of a hill and coming down. And there's a carousel and a jump. Now, our car is probably not gonna jump, but people like Mark, higher horsepower cars, can get completely airborne here. So this track is really fun. It's got a little bit of everything. Perfect little testing ground. Nice little way to break in the RX8, but also probably works in my favor considering it's more of a grip track and power shouldn't matter quite as much. So that should equal the playing field a little bit more. But yeah, it's just a really fun time.
Let's see how she does. I have an oil pressure light. It says I have like 10 PSI right now.
Okay, that's, mine gets pretty, what oil do you have? Viscosity?
It should be 1030.
Yeah, you might be low on oil or you might be just running too thin of an oil.
I went out and turned some laps, and then I got like a power cut and then an oil pressure light, which is very scary because this is an expensive engine. I think that maybe the viscosity oil that I'm running, which is Valvoline 10W30 VR1, is too low viscosity, so I'm gonna swap it out for a 2050 VR1 and see if that helps with this. The oil pressure's on track, because the last thing I wanna do is oil starve this engine.
Well, we're hitting some teething pains here with the first track day of a car. There's always gonna be something, and for me, it is a seizing up brake caliper. So my right front brake caliper is completely locking up when it gets hot, so I'm only getting like half a lap until the brake's literally blocking and slowing me down and smoking, and glazing my rotor. So that's a problem. We took the calipers apart when we put the new pads in. We greased them, you know, made sure everything was good, but they're still seizing. So I think we have to replace the caliper. But good news for us, because Eric has joined us as well to this track day, and he brought his RX8. So we're gonna steal his caliper, throw it on our car, and hopefully try to get a lap in here so we can actually beat Ben. I'm not even using these tires, man. Look at that, they still got some of the nubs on them.
Caliper?
Ah,
That's the part you ordered, right?
perfect. Hey, this looks a little used.
It's fine. It's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So it's amazing how well brakes work when they work. But not all, like into the brake zones, yeah. But when your caliper is like seizing, it slows you down on the straights significantly. Like my top speed, I actually don't know what my top speed is now, but it's much faster. They're not telling me what my lap times are, but I have shaved off multiple seconds. And I don't even feel like I'm driving that much harder just because it's carrying so much more speed. I mean, I'm shifting a lot earlier than I was before, so I know I'm carrying a lot more speed in the straights, let alone I can actually use the brakes without worrying about getting them hot. And the brakes are really good. I do have some like Hawk DTC 60 pads on there, but for some stock brakes, they are phenomenal. I'm braking later than I was braking in my EK race car, which I brought here as well just to kind of test and get some data on. But I'm braking way deeper with the RX8 than I am with my proper race car. And that car is 500 pounds heavier. It's absolutely nuts. Like the power that tires and grip can make is phenomenal. Get some good tires for your cars. Well, Ben, my caliper seized. That was pretty cool.
I saw that.
Yep.
Saw your car smoking.
Yeah.
I'm having persistent like oil pressure / ECU weirdness with like, it's just like the setup and stuff, but I don't know if I'm making enough oil pressure to lubricate my engine at 10,000 RPM or whatever. I'm just like so scared of starving that engine. You know
I think you're a little gun shy because a Talon has done you dirty a little too many times.
A couple cars have done me dirty.
Yeah.
Every day I wish I just did a regular K24.
Well, hey, if it blows up, you can just put a regular K20.
Yeah, but then I would still be very sad.
Yeah, but you know, you might even make more power.
Oh, I don't understand any more power. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta like get this thing fixed and running because I have not turned a real lap all day. So the donut gasket portion of the exhaust separated, so the header and the rest of the exhaust are no longer connected. I thought I had torn the header open, but actually it was just the header falling apart. Just K-series stuff. The vibrations are insane, especially at like 10,000 RPM. So that definitely didn't help with the car performing.
So, the carousel, I smelt wood constantly. and well, you can tell it scraped off the titanium puck almost entirely, and then obviously all of this wood. The right side's fine. In hindsight, I might have had the splitter set a little too low. Probably should have picked it up a little bit, but I mean, who doesn't like the smell of burning wood, right? It's really weird having a car with that much grip, because like my Civic, which is what I'm used to tracking, has a lot of grip, but this is like another level.
Yeah.
It's just like less power, more weight, and way more tire.
Yeah, way more tire,
like,
yeah.
It's just an insane amount of grip. I can't bust them loose. Like, I'm trying though. Maybe by the end of the day. Like,
Ben's trying desperately to bust.
Yeah. Okay.
So when it has been running, before it like starts like giving me low oil pressure lights and like cutting RPM and stuff like that, the S is awesome to drive. Like, it sounds great, but the actual ergonomics of an S2000 fit me really well driving wise, which I'm surprised by. The shifter is amazing.
Dude,
you've had that in your RX7 for so long. I'm so
nice.
glad I get to have the same trans. It's awesome. It shifts so crisply.
There are some fireballs coming out of that.
Ah, yeah. I'm hearing pops and bangs. So yeah, it sounds like you're probably getting that rich, lean situation going.
I give it like a little more premix than normal, and then Eric was telling me that the tune that I have on it increases the oil metering pump, so it's giving it more oil. I kind of like just want to figure out how to make it shoot bigger fireballs.
I'm sure it's not difficult.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not too difficult.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. You want to tuck up close behind me?
No, I do not. I don't want to be anywhere near you.
Well, Ben, I'll be honest, I don't know what the conclusion is.
I think I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I think you stomped me.
I feel like I did a pretty good lap, but the car is also quite slow. I think the top speed was like 105.
But my car like really never turned a lap. Like, between oil pressure issues and then ripping the header open on the ground and sending my AFRs like completely, totally.
Where? On track you ripped it?
Yeah. The header is like 2 inches off the ground and it just bottomed out. You could put together a fast lap, but I don't think I ever turned a full go.
I mean, to be fair, both cars have never been on track before, and they both had pretty serious issues. I was just fortunate enough to have Eric here with a spare RX8 to steal his brake caliper. Otherwise, I mean, I would have had a trash lap too. So we don't know the official results, but that is being posted over on Driving Line. So check that out. There'll be a link in the description below where you can watch a much more cinematic version of what you've just seen, because they've got just ridiculous camera guys. Go head over there next.
All right, well, hey, you know, good job with the rotary. Yeah. The car works pretty well.
Dude, turns out grip is a lot of fun.
Yeah. It is nice to have overwhelming amounts of grip.
It's like hard to break it loose. Like, you really gotta work it to get it loose.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this was a satisfying conclusion to this build series that we both were doing. I think that, you know, in the future we'll have the S more sorted out, and maybe the RX8. What do you think you're gonna do with it? You gonna turn it into a track car or what?
I'm not sure. Let's let them decide. Comment below what you think that I should do to this next. I mean, we could do all sorts of stuff. I could swap with a different engine, obviously. I could turbo it, or we could make it a drift car. Who knows? Lots of options.
What I wanna do for the S10K is keep it a relatively nice road car, street car. Move the header up a little bit so it doesn't drag on the ground, and then maybe take it on a road trip.
I'm not taking the RX8 on another road trip. There's gonna be other cars for that, not again.
Hey, maybe another Honda.
Maybe
we can bring Hondas on a road trip.
The most reliable road trip in the world.